Okay, good evening, everyone. Here we are at the North Platte City Council meeting, Wednesday, July 5th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. And of course, we're here in the council chambers calling the meeting to order. We have first an invocation by Father Jonathan Sorensen and his friar's haircut.
Let's bow our heads and pray. Almighty and eternal God, you have revealed your glory to all nations. God of power and might, wisdom and justice, through you authority is rightly administered, laws are enacted, and judgment is decreed. Let the light of your divine wisdom direct the deliberations of the North Platte City Council and shine forth in all its proceedings. May its members seek to preserve peace, promote happiness, and continue to bring the blessings of liberty and equality. We likewise commend to your unbounded mercy all citizens of the United States, that we may be blessed in the knowledge and sanctified in the observance of your holy law. May we be preserved in union and that peace which the world cannot give, and after enjoying the blessings of this life, be admitted to those which are eternal. We pray to you, who are our Lord and God, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Father Sorensen. Roll call, please, Angie.
Nisling?
Here.
Charles? Here. Cole?
Here.
Lucas?
Here.
Garrett?
Here.
Planner?
Here.
Baker? Woods?
Here.
Thank you. A current copy of the Open Meetings Act of the State of Nebraska is posted on the wall at the back of the council chambers. Meeting procedure: the public may address specific agenda items at the pleasure of the mayor. If recognized by the mayor, please identify yourself by stating your name and address. Please address the council through the mayor and limit your remarks. We respect our city employees and request that any complaints or criticisms of employees not be aired in the public meeting. Concerns about employees should be brought to the attention of the city administrator or the mayor. Individuals in violation will be declared out of order. Awards and accolades. Tonight we have a couple things we'd just like to recognize here during the meeting in the awards and accolades category. The first is some recognition of our many city employees who do just a fantastic job of supporting the Nebraska Land Day celebration. Of course, that's a big statewide the state celebration for the state of Nebraska. And our city employees do a great many of the behind-the-scenes sorts of things, moving picnic tables, trash bins, people, all sorts of things around throughout the whole celebration. They put in quite a bit of work. It's quite a bit of effort, and we really appreciate it. Without them, I don't know that we could execute the celebration the manner it gets done. It's another great example of the canteen spirit that we have here in North Platte, that we have so many people that volunteer. We have the city employees that do a great amount of work. We also have a huge number of volunteers that really make the celebration possible. I believe, although I've not heard recent statistics, but I believe the number of volunteers that help Nebraska Land Days is in the thousands of people for our little town of 24,000 or so people. So what a great thing to have in our community. We really appreciate all our city employees. They do a lot of night work and afternoon work and Sunday work to make Nebraska Land Days happen. It's a great thing. So thank you to all those employees. We couldn't fill the council with them, but we should probably clap. Also, Chief Reeves, would you come forward up here to the mic, please? We wanted to have, if you've been following the papers, you may have noticed quite a few arrests in the category of what I might generically call drug offenses. And Chief Reeves and his team have been doing some fantastic job in getting after some folks who are doing things they probably shouldn't be doing. So, Chief, would you just update us a little on what's going on and how we're getting this great success, please? Don't give away the farm, though.
Without being too specific, as you recall, about a year ago, we added our K-9. And at the time that we did that, we got him certified about the fall of 2022. So after we got the certification, we teamed up some of our people that were pretty successful at drug interdiction cases. And we teamed one of those individuals up with our K-9 handler. So now a portion of their shift, they work the same shift. They've agreed to always serve on the same shift together, and their focus is just drug interdiction. Now, can they be pulled away for other things? Yes, but that's kind of been their primary focus, and they've had some pretty good success at it. However, and we've always had a task force member. A full-time member of our criminal investigation division was assigned to a task force, which is a multi-agency task force. We had federal component, state component, and we've worked that for several years. But it became apparent to Deputy Chief Allison and I that we needed a little more of a patrol component with this task force. You can have a whole room full of investigators, but most of these cases start with a traffic stop or something that's happening in the patrol division. So we teamed this group up with that individual that's assigned to the task force, put them all under the supervision of one sergeant, hoping that we could get better communication and not just maybe get a traffic stop and make an arrest, that we'd follow that through and see it to its end or try to get more out of it if we could. So that's kind of the management philosophy behind why we think we've had success. It really boils down to the men and women that are out there working every day. They're doing a good job, and we're seeing success, and they're seeing each other's success, and it's really just kind of snowballed. So we have some more good stuff coming down the pipe, I think, and we're going to continue to do everything that we do, but we've really kind of put a concerted focus on it.
Well, thank you. I know it's something that's very important to many of our citizens. We all hear about it from time to time, that whatever we can do to reduce the the drugs in our community, I think most everyone would view it as a great benefit. So thank you very much, and we appreciate you and all your team's efforts.
Glad you noticed.
Okay, moving on. Consent agenda. All matters under the consent agenda are considered by the city council to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. Any city council member may, however, remove an item from consent by request. Number one, approve the minutes of June 20, 2023. Number two, approve the appointment of Jared Childers to the Board of Adjustment. Number three, authorize the police department to apply for a Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office grant funded overtime reimbursement to participate in the Speeding Prevention Enforcement Selective Overtime Enforcement Campaign. Number four, adopt the recommendation by the Planning Commission for preliminary and final approval of Carlini First Replat located at 2902 South Willow Street. Number five, adopt the recommendation by the City Planning Commission for preliminary and final approval of Second Street First Replat located at 1822 and 1902 East 2nd Street. Number six, approve a microTIF project for Berwick Investments LLC to renovate second floor apartments as part of a historic building rehabilitation project located at 400 through 406 North Dewey Street and 115 East 4th Street.
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion by Vols, second by Nisley. Calling the question on approving the consent agenda, please. Consent agenda is approved. Number seven, third reading and action on ordinance number 4129, amending the official City of North Platte zoning map, extending the 2-mile extraterritorial jurisdiction located on the southwest side of North Platte along West State Farm Road and South Buffalo Bill Avenue, approximately 839 acres.
Let me read the ordinance.
Yes, please read the ordinance.
Ordinance number 4129, an ordinance of the City of North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, amending the official City of North Platte zoning map, extending the 2-mile extraterritorial jurisdiction, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the effective date and publication thereof.
Thank
I
you.
move to adopt ordinance number 4129, amending the official city of North Platte zoning map, extending the 2-mile ETJ on final reading.
Second.
Motion by Garrick, second by Lucas. Any discussion on item number 7? Seeing none, calling the question on item number 7, please. Item number 7 is passed. Item number 8. We have the first in a long string of public hearings tonight. This first public hearing will be regarding adopting a recommendation by the North Platte Planning Commission to adopt ordinance number 4132, vacating a portion of an alley located at 95 Rose Park Drive. And since this is a public hearing on ordinance, Lane, you want to go ahead and read the ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 4132, an ordinance of the City of North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, vacating part of an alley located at 95 Rose Park Drive and described as the alley lying southerly and easterly of the south and east lines of Lot 2, Cruises Second replat, North Platte, Lincoln County, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the effective date and publication thereof.
Thank you. Okay, the public hearing is officially open on item number 8 regarding the vacating a portion of the alley on Rose Court. If anyone from the public would like to make comment about this, please approach the microphone and tell us what your thoughts are. It would appear that we're not going to have anyone here on this subject.
I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Garrick, second by Vols to close the public hearing. Calling the question on closing the public hearing, please. Public hearing is closed. Thank you. Now the council will consider number 8, adopt the recommendation by the North Platte Planning Commission to adopt ordinance number 4132, vacating a portion of an alley located at 95 Rose Park Drive.
I move to adopt ordinance number 4132 to vacate a portion of an alley located at 95 Rose Park Drive on first reading.
Second.
Motion by Garrick, second by Flanders. Do we have any discussion on item number 8? Judy's out there. She can tell us all about it if we need to. Okay. Seeing none, calling the question on item number 8, please. Item number 8 is passed. Moving on to item number 9, another public hearing. This one is action to adopt ordinance number 4134, annexing lots 1, 2, 3, and 4, Block 6, Lincoln Highway, 8th Edition, North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska. Proposed Cochran First Replat consisting of approximately 10.35 acres located at 2321 West 18th Street into the corporate limits of the city of North Platte. Lane, would you read the ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 4134, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the City of North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, to include within the corporate limits of the City of North Platte certain lands described as lots 1, 2, 3, and 4, Block 6, Lincoln Highway, 8th Edition, North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska. Proposed Cochran First Replat, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the effective date and publication thereof.
Okay, that's a public hearing opening on that annexation of lots 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Anyone from the public would like to make comment on that, please approach the microphone and let us know your thoughts. It would appear that no one is going to approach the microphone.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Garrick, second by Lucas. Calling the question and closing the public hearing, please. Public hearing is now closed. Council will now consider action to adopt ordinance number 4134, annexing lots 1, 2, 3, and 4, Block 6, Lincoln Highway, 8th Edition, North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska. Proposed Cochran First Replat consisting of approximately 10.35 acres located at 2321 West 18th Street into the corporate limits of the city of North Platte.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt ordinance number 4134, annexing lots 1, 2, 3, and 4, Block 6, Lincoln Highway, 8th Edition, North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska. Proposed Cochran First Replat into the corporate limits of the city of North Platte on first reading.
Second.
Motion by Lucas, second by Vols. Do we have any discussion on item number 9?
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to learn if this was requested by the property owner, and also if they have any immediate intentions for alteration or development.
Judy, would you fill us in, please?
Mayor, Councilman Lucas. The annexation itself was not requested by the property owner, but however, they did request a lot consolidation. And since it is abutting the city limits of the city of North Platte, we do have section 155, 126, I believe, that says that any subdivision that occurs abutting city limits, they are brought into the city limits. As far as development, the applicant themselves, no, as far as I know, does not have the intention of doing anything. Their intention is to sell it, probably for future housing development. And I have had 2 individuals from the public already come in and talk to me about how they would go about developing that for housing.
Good, it'd be a nice area to develop, so no, thank you.
Yep.
But it doesn't sound like they're screaming in opposition of annexation then as part of this, okay?
No.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Yep.
I think, Judy, if I could just clarify too, real quick. The annexation wasn't initially requested by the applicant, but as part of the subdivision, it's being requested, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Hey, Judy, is that microphone on?
It says it's on.
Okay, that's fine.
Maybe I'm just not yelling loud enough.
That's fine. I'm sure that'll change later. Okay. Just kidding, just kidding. Come on, we gotta lighten up the meetings a little bit. All right, any further discussion on item number 9?
I guess I would just clarify, because I'll probably vote against this, as most annexations, and it's just strictly because of our TIF. I think that's the most abused law there is, and I wish we could TIF what is blighted, not what's next to being blighted. So I don't want our city landmass to grow, because that increases the percentage, and so, just so everybody knows where I stand. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments on this one? Seeing none, calling the question on item number 9, please. Item number 9 is passed. Item number 10, adopt the recommendation by the City Planning Commission for preliminary and final approval of Cochran First Replat located at 2321 West 18th Street in an R1 dwelling district on property described as lots 1, 2, 3, and 4, Block 6, Lincoln Highway, 8th Edition, North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska.
Move to adopt the recommendation by the City Planning Commission for preliminary and final approval of Cochran First Replat.
Second.
Motion by Garrick, second by Vols. Do we have any discussion on item number 10, please? Seeing none, calling the question on item number 10. Item number 10 is passed. Okay, moving on to another public hearing. Public hearing will be action to discuss action on action to adopt ordinance number 4135, annexing County Clerk's subdivision, part of the south half of section 4-13-30, and accretions to Lot G, proposed GPH Sports Medicine replat, consisting of approximately .4946 acres into the corporate limits of the city of North Platte. Lane, would you read the ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 4135, an ordinance of the mayor and council of the city of North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, to include within the corporate limits of the city of North Platte certain lands described as county clerk subdivision, part of the south half of section 4-13-30, and accretions to Lot G, Lincoln County, Nebraska, proposed GPH Sports Medicine replat, repealing all ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the effective date and publication thereof.
Thank you. Okay, the public hearing on this subject is now open. If anyone has any thoughts or questions, they're welcome to approach and discuss, or let us know your thoughts. We're not getting a lot of input tonight, everybody.
Makes for a shorter meeting, though.
Okay. It would not appear that anyone is going to discuss on this issue. So,
Move to close the public hearing. Second.
motion by Garrick, second by Nisley. Calling the question and closing the public hearing, please. Public hearing is now closed. Council will now consider action to adopt ordinance number 4135, annexing County Clerk subdivision part of the south half of section 41330 and accretions to Lot G, proposed GPH Sports Medicine replat, consisting of approximately .4946 acres into the corporate limits of the city of North Platte.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt ordinance number 4135, annexing County Clerk subdivision part of the south half of section 4-13-30 and accretions to Lot G, proposed GPH Sports Medicine replat into the corporate limits of the city of North Platte on first reading.
Second.
Motion by Lucas, second by Nisley. Any discussion on item number 11?
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Go ahead, Mr. Woods.
I was just wondering, is that land part of the old Motel 6 property? It just happened to not be, okay.
Yep. For some reason, it wasn't annexed years ago, and so they're just.
Figured that was probably it, but
Any other discussion on item number 11? Seeing none, calling the question on item number 11, please. Item number 11 is passed. Another public hearing. Item number 12, action to adopt ordinance number 4133 to vacate all utility easements on property located at 1502 South Jeffers Street, all part of proposed GPH Sports Medicine replat. Lane, would you read the ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 4133, an ordinance of the city of North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, vacating all utility and access easements on property located at 1502 South Jeffers on parcel numbers 0010790.00, 0013670.00, 0013965.00, 0010801.10, 0013975.00, and 0013985.00. North Platte, Lincoln County, proposed GPH Sports Medicine replat, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the effective date and publication thereof.
Thank you. Public hearing is now open on this subject. Anyone would like to make a comment about it, they're welcome to approach the microphone and make a comment. It would appear that no one is going to comment on this subject.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Garrick, second by Flanders to close the public hearing. Calling the question and closing the public hearing, please. Public hearing on number 12 is now closed. Council will now consider action on ordinance number 4133 to vacate all utility easements on property located at 1502 South Jeffers Street, all part of proposed GPH Sports Medicine replat.
Mayor Kelleher, I move to adopt ordinance number 4133 to vacate all utility easements on property located at 1502 South Jeffers Street on first reading.
Second.
Motion by Nisley, second by Lucas. Any discussion on item number 12? Seeing none, calling the question on item number 12, please. Item number 12 is passed. Thank you. Another public hearing. Item number 13. Adopt the recommendation by the North Platte Planning Commission to adopt ordinance number 4131 to rezone certain lands from a B-2 Highway Commercial District to a PB-2 Planned Highway Commercial District located at 1502 South Jeffers Street. Lane, would you read the ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 4131, an ordinance of the city of North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, rezoning certain lands described as listed in the Lincoln County Assessor's Office as parcel ID numbers 0013670.00, 0013965.00, 0010801.010, 0013975.00, and 0013985.00. North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, proposed GPH Sports Medicine replat from a B2 Highway Commercial District to a PB2 Planned Highway Commercial District, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the effective date and publication thereof.
Thank you. Public hearing is now open on item number 13. Anyone have any thoughts or questions, comments? Not a very talkative crowd tonight so far. It would appear that no one's going to comment on item number 13.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Garrick, second by Vols to close the public hearing. Calling the question on closing the public hearing, please. Public hearing is now closed on item number 13. Now the council will adopt the recommendation by the North Platte Planning Commission to adopt ordinance number 4131 to rezone certain lands from a Highway B-2 commercial district to a PB-2 planned highway commercial district located at 1502 South Jeffers Street.
I move to adopt ordinance number 4131 to rezone certain land from a B2 highway commercial district to a PB2 highway commercial district on first reading.
Second.
Motion by Garrick, second by Nisley. Any discussion on item number 13?
Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Lucas.
Yeah, I had a constituent ask me about the, I know that there's been some right-of-way added, and they're looking at that turn lane there, and I know we've talked about it, but I wondered if Mr. Birkeland could just remind me of what's happening right there at that corner of the property. I probably
Talking
could have
about
asked it on any of these items, but
The corner of Leota and
corner
Jeffers
of
there.
Leota and Jeffers,
Okay.
yep, to clarify.
Council, Mayor, unfortunately, Ty, I think you, you answered the question. They are taking a little acquisition off of that corner, but they're not substantially changing what's already existing right now. They have some additional temporary easements along there, but you're talking about that, specifically the northeast corner of that property? Is that what you're,
Yeah, it looked in this like it was getting a little wider. Is that right or not?
on the, as far as the north-south right-of-way on Leota?
Yeah.
No,
No?
that's
Okay.
not changing. It's just the very corner. They're cutting off the corner.
Okay, the corner's getting like a wider radius, or is that
Yes,
what's going on?
correct.
Okay,
And what the state has done frequently on corners is they'll acquire some of the corner to protect visibility
okay.
for state highways. So about the only way they can guarantee some of that is to own it, so.
Okay. Well, I think that's good. I mean, we've had feedback from people liking to see more radius there, so I think that's
Yeah,
that's
they're,
great.
in general, they're increasing all the radiuses,
Okay.
all the way on Jeffers. They're all getting larger.
Maybe a follow-up question, maybe not for Mr. Birkeland. I don't see this zoning change being bothersome in any way to neighbors, people. I'm wondering if there's any reason they'd like to see this zoning change sped along. In other words, I mean, I'd be happy to propose an amendment to waive the 3 readings if there's any design or other benefits to moving the zoning along faster. Then maybe, I always felt with vacation of utilities that it's nice to have it out there in case a neighbor or something has a concern, but I don't really feel that way about zoning. So do we know if Great Plains would like to see the zoning side moved along faster, or if it matters? Does anybody have
Judy?
any thoughts on that?
I've not had anything to do with this, so I don't know.
Okay.
Mayor, council, as with any development, everybody would like to see it go a little bit faster. We do have some plans, about 75% of the plans for this development in our office down there at the end of the building. So, yeah, I mean, if we can go faster, I'm sure they would enjoy that.
Well, my thoughts are in a planned development, your design focus shifts a little bit from a V2, so I wonder if it wouldn't be helpful to them. I guess I'll propose that we waive the 3 required readings and vote to pass this tonight.
Second.
Motion by Lucas, second by Nisley to waive the 3 readings on item number 13. Do we have any discussion on that amendment? Or, excuse me, that motion? Okay, calling the question on the motion to waive the 3 readings. Motion is passed. Thank you. Council will go back now to the original item, 13, as amended. Do we have any further discussion? Okay. Calling the question on number 13 as amended, the amendment being that it would be passed if the council votes in one motion. And it looks like most of you have voted, so keep going. Thank you. Okay. Item number 13 passed on first reading. Thank you. Item number 14, adopt a recommendation by the City Planning Commission for preliminary and final approval of GPH Sports Medicine replat located at 1502 South Jeffers Street. There's no public hearing on this one, so.
I move to adopt the recommendation by the City Planning Commission for preliminary and final approval of GPH Sports Medicine replat.
Second.
Motion by Lucas, second by Garrick. Do we have any discussion on item number 14?
I guess I would just like to make a comment so the public knows that it's a tax exempt entity that's going to be taking this over, so that will take that property out of the tax rolls.
Only if the hospital requests it.
Oh, okay. Maybe they won't.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, calling the question, item number 14. Number 14 is passed. Number 15, another public hearing. Adopt the resolution regarding the City of North Platte, Nebraska Blight and Substandard Study Deacons Point redevelopment area. The area includes an estimated 260 acres generally located along the west of South Newberry access, north of Golden Road, as prepared by Hannah Keelan Associates, PC, and approval of related actions. This is a public hearing on item number 15. And Elaine, you don't have to read an ordinance on this one. Are you excited? Okay. So we've opened the public hearing on item number 15, which is the Blight and Substandard Study on Deacons Point redevelopment. Do we have anybody in the audience who would like to make a comment on this one?
Mayor, Council, Gary Pearson, President of North Platte Area Chamber and Development Corporation. As we all know, what a challenge housing is currently in the city of North Platte and all of Lincoln County for that matter, as well as what we know is going to be significant job creation in the very near future. It's very important that we have areas of the community designated for that have deficiencies and challenges that receive this type of designation to open the door for potential development. We see both potential residential developers and perhaps some small commercial development in this area if the infrastructure assistance is available. We've talked to a number of developers ever since this property was first kind of targeted for development, ran into a lot of different challenges, and I think we have some people willing to move forward provided it gets this designation. Your planning commission, who studies all these issues extensively, has unanimously passed it on. One member did have a potential conflict, so they abstained from the vote, but otherwise it received an 8-0 recommendation coming forward. I'd also, in this item, as well as the one that will follow, both potentially very significant housing developments in the community, just want to point out that in the calendar year 2023, which we're in, we all know what a significant low inventory we have in housing, yet we have had only 13 total housing permits issued this entire year, all single family. And then if you factor in this situation where 3 of those are Habitat for Humanity, 4 of them are modular homes that have been moved in as a result of Mulligan Meadows that the Chamber Development Corporation is moving forward on, and 2 are Lincoln County Community Development Corporation for basically income designated type properties. So that leaves 4 total permits that have been issued. 2 of those are moving forward in blighted properties that were opened only because of subdivisions that were approved. And then the other 2 are very upper end type of homes being built. So that doesn't speak very well of our ability to meet the challenges of housing. And so we're certainly hoping this agenda item as well as the next one the council will find favor with. It's very much needed. I can't express enough that how significant and critical this is. We have enticed job creating development to our community, and we have promised these developers when we approved those projects that the community would help address housing issues, and this is one of the ways that we can do it. So thank you, and that's the end of my comments.
Thank you. Public hearing still open on item number 15. Anyone else have any comments on item number 15?
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Garrick, second by Vols to close the public hearing. Calling the question to close the public hearing on item number 15, please. Public hearing is now closed on item number 15. Council will now consider adopt a resolution regarding the City of North Platte, Nebraska Blight and Substandard Study, Deacons Point redevelopment. The area includes an estimated 260 acres generally located along the west and south Newberry access north of Golden Road as prepared by Hannah Keelan Associates PC and approval of related actions.
Move to adopt a resolution as presented in council materials regarding the City of North Platte, Nebraska Blight and Substandard Study, Deacons Point redevelopment area as prepared by Hannah Keelan Associates and approval of related actions.
Second.
Motion by Garrick, second by Vols. Do we have any discussion on item number 15?
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Lucas?
Yeah, just a couple comments on this. First, I had notes from when we did the zoning on this property, and at that point, I think the owner of the property, when they got some commercial zoning and the housing zoning in order, told us they weren't likely going to do any incentives or request any incentives, but it sounds like they figured out that it really couldn't be developed successfully without it. And, you know, these decisions, I know we focus a lot on the projects, but when we select a redevelopment area, what we're really doing is setting Mr. Pearson and everybody else in the community loose to really go recruit. And I think we lose sight sometimes of the fact that what we're doing here is saying we've got an infrastructure financing mechanism in place. And I think it makes perfect sense for this area because I think it's just going to sit there as an alfalfa field if we don't try to help it. And I know that sometimes people have certain concerns about TIF and the use of TIF and the amount of use of TIF. But in a situation like this, I think one option is we do nothing and it sits there and it continues to be an alfalfa field and people continue to build outside of the city around it. Or two, we go into the city coffers either through our debt capacity or through money we have and we put the infrastructure on the entire taxpayer base. Or our third option is that we designate it blight and substandard. That sets Gary and his team loose to really go recruit developers for this area, and then we find developers that are willing to shoulder the risk of the development using the TIF financing mechanism that doesn't get shouldered by the rest of the taxpayers. And so these blight decisions are important because I think what we're really doing, it's kind of a green light, red light for development, and so I'm really pleased to see this property come up for redevelopment.
Thank you. Donna?
Okay, this study is a year old and it wasn't updated, so I'm pretty familiar with the area, and I think this part of what they've used to show that it's substandard is not there anymore, the sign, and they've thrown the crematorium in there, and that's, what, less than 6 years old? I guess I'm opposed to the study as is, number one. Number two is that the area that they want to develop is not blighted. I mean, it's a alfalfa field, but they've gone out around to show that it's blighted. In fact, they've even gone out of the city limits, I think, to the south there. So I'm sorry, I can't support this project. I think it will in time be developed without.
Did you say the crematorium is included in the blight? Where does it say that in the study? I was unable to find it.
It's in the map that they have. They don't take in the whole land, they just take in the building.
Okay. Hold on just a second. Judy? Because after your comments in the planning commission, we kind of looked at this, so you want to explain what's going on there so everyone knows, please?
Mayor, council, this redevelopment plan was originally completed in January of 2022, but then it was revised, relooked at, to make sure that the conditions still exist in May of 2023. So it is not technically a year old. The original document was a year old. The crematorium, yes, is in there, and it is the whole entire property that the crematorium sits on, plus additional property. In the study, if you look on several pages, it talks about how there are 4 buildings in the area, 3 of which are considered blighted, substandard, dilapidated, those types of things. And the 4th one, which is the crematorium, is obviously in sound condition, and that is put right here in the plan. Page, I think it's 24, it talks about it. Page 18, maybe, I believe, talks about it, but it talks about what the definition of sound is. That building is sound, and it's saying that 75% of the structures in the area, which makes sense, 4 minus 1 is 3, which is 75%. So,
In your knowledge of tax increment financing law, is it normal to have areas that might be considered blighted in some standard, but not the entire area, such as you might have some structures in a neighborhood that are good and some that aren't, for example?
yes, every blight study that we have done, I believe there are a mixture of sound structures and a mixture of ones that are not considered sound. Yes.
Okay. That's all my questions. I think, Mr. Bowles, you had a question there?
No, Judy stated exactly what I was going to say there,
Okay.
much more eloquently, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just a quick follow-up question, Judy. So was it left in there just due to efficiency on the drawing of, in other words, why was that parcel left in there?
More than likely, just have straight lines. It's a lot easier to do legal descriptions when you have straight lines versus cutting a little chunk out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Anyone else have any thoughts or questions on this subject? Okay. Calling the question on item number 15, please. Item number 15 is passed. Okay. Now we're down to item number 16. Yep.
Did it take my vote? I'm sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, my vote didn't show up.
sorry, everyone. I just looked at the bigger number and. Okay, please vote again, everybody. Sorry, we had a technical difficulty there. Mr. Nisley's vote was not recorded by the system for some reason. Okay, there we go. Correct number is 5-2 in this case. Thank you. All right, moving on to item number 16. Public hearing to adopt the resolution and approval of Village Park Flats redevelopment plan on property located at 3805 West A Street and approval of related actions. We're going to open the public hearing on this. This is item number 16. And hold on just a second. In the spirit of everybody knowing what's going on here, I think we could ask one of the gentlemen from New Haven to sort of tell us what your plan is here, or some ideas. Would that be okay? It's one of you two. Or maybe you've nominated Judy.
They can do it. I'm just going to set.
Oh, okay. We have pictures. I like pictures. Pictures are good.
Hopefully, if we can get it to work.
Okay, hold on.
And they came prepared, so if it doesn't work, they have handouts.
That's good. Is the computer on? It's saying no signal, so.
As far as I can tell.
Aha. There we go. Would you tell us who you are and where you live, please?
Yes, Byron Riddle. I'm with Blue Sky Development in Lincoln, Nebraska. Thanks for having us with you guys tonight. Appreciate that. Village Park Flats redevelopment that we've been looking at for the last number of months is something we've tried to listen as closely as we can to community need, the different industry that's coming in, the need that currently exists, the need that will most likely exist in the future as the community keeps growing. And so we've tried to present an opportunity for the city to have a variety of housing opportunities for people, whether that be individuals or investors, and a number of different entry points is when we're talking about pricing, so that it's not a development for a certain subset of the community, but it can literally be a community-wide development. And so we're looking at a development on the property mentioned, 48 single-family homes, 42 townhomes, and 38 triplex units. I've got some visuals I can share here in a second so you guys get a better picture of what that looks like, and all centered around a park in the middle as well. Again, trying to create a really quality neighborhood feel, again, as there's a mixture of single-family, multifamily, still allowing kind of a single space for the entire community to use, and even wider city as well, so that it can be a really integral part of what North Platte looks like moving forward. I can take any questions. I can show you some of the things that we sent over earlier that Judy's got prepared, whatever you'd like.
Why don't you go ahead and show us what you're considering here?
Okay. So this here, and I'm going to kind of fast forward maybe. This is one of the elevations of the single family. We do have lots assigned that will allow a 3-stall garage. We have a similar and identical version of this same floor plan, which I can pull up as well. That's a 2-stall garage, so allows for a little bit different lot usage, also a different price point when you're taking off some of the structure and what you're looking at there. But this would be one of the main single-family homes that we'd be bringing into this neighborhood. We're also looking at how we creatively change some of the facade of the homes. So as you're driving down the street, you can pick yours out visually and not have to memorize the number all the time because they all just look the same, boom, 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 down the line. So we're trying to be as creative as we can with that to, again, make it feel like an established neighborhood and not just a cookie-cutter development that came in as fast as it could. So this is the single-family 3-stall. Be willing to take any questions on that, or I can pull up another one as well.
Curiosity,
Yes.
approximate square footage there, are you thinking, Byron?
So these come in right at 1,590, 3 beds, 2 baths. One of the things, if I can pull it up here as well, that we've are kind of excited about for this, you'll see it. I'll show you. This is just some of the footing, obviously, of it. But I'm going to point out this little random square here that's in the middle, and then I'll go down to the main floor layout here. We've designed this with a central storm shelter that has poured concrete walls and ceiling, and a 3.0 door, so that no matter who's in the home, age, et cetera, whatever that looks like, we get some weather that comes through. All these homes can, unless somebody may want to come in and buy one of these and be like, I want to save the few $1,000s that costs. Okay, that's fine. But at least they have the option, if they would like that centralized storm shelter in the home, poured concrete walls, ceiling, all of that, and they can have that in the house. So that would normally, this is a home that we built in Lincoln. That's normally where our stairwell is that goes down in the basement. We don't do basements in North Platte. So it's a storm shelter. So we're kind of excited about how that all laid out, but just another unique little feature of what we're trying to bring into that community. Other questions?
Keep going.
Okay. Let's see if this is next one here.
Hey, Byron, on that house, sorry to interrupt again, but
You bet.
that was a 3-bedroom?
3-bedroom, 2
Okay,
bath.
3-bedroom,
Yep.
2-bath, 3-car
Yep.
attached garage, okay.
So this is, I'll get there. This is the townhome. So again, you'll see initially similar look, feel, et cetera, because we are, from a base standpoint, utilizing, sorry about that, the same base floor plan as you just saw in the single family, again with a number of iterations of what the facade of the townhomes can look like to differentiate those, but it also in a way where the colors and the finishes of the exterior still make it feel like a cohesive neighborhood. We don't have red houses, yellow houses, but it all still fits together while allowing some differentiation in what they look like from the exterior. The inside of these townhomes is identical to what you just saw in the layout, still 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and the 2-stall garage as well. Okay. This might be the same one again. So this is the 2-stall version, the same thing we saw just previously. But again, another option for, you know, a family, especially coming in on the single family side, as we're working with them and working with the local realty group, a way to save some cost again and make sure that the housing is affordable as possible. If you don't need 3-stall, if you're okay with parking in the drive, et cetera, another way to try to trim some cost off as much as we can. Okay. Let me go back here. Same one. Are the, okay, great, okay, so single family townhome there. And then the other component of this is this triplex concept that we'd love to bring into this neighborhood. Sometimes you hear triplex and you think it's a 4-letter word. I think when you see what the concept looks like and how it lays out, it provides a really, really economical approach to multifamily that still gives each individual unit a single family feel and amenities. So I'll pull that up now. So this is a rendering what that would look like. You'll notice no driveways and no garages. And that is because in the triplex portion of the development, there is a poured rear alley that has a 2-stall garage for each unit. So a rear access alley, poured alley. So you've got a 2-stall garage, and between the back of the home and your garage is your yard. So you've kind of got a little bit of a secluded private space. But it also gives a pretty appealing look, at least in my opinion, to what the face of the street looks like when you remove some of the garage and driveway. Gives it a really unique community kind of look when you're looking down those homes. Again, we're looking at how we can adjust even some of the small roof line features, some of the finish features to differentiate the homes, but make it cohesive all at the same time. These are 3-bed, 2.5 bath. So has a full-size living room, dining room, kitchen, half bath on the main floor. Upstairs is 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and full laundry on the second floor.
Just hoping my wife doesn't make me move.
Would there be an option of a storm cellar in these also, or potentially not?
So we've kicked that around a little bit on where that would make sense in this layout. It gets a little bit tight just because of the schematic of the home. I think there are some options potentially. So right now, the stairs that go up to the second floor is underneath those stairs. It's not underneath the stairs. There's plenty of space. But is where that half bath sits on the main floor. We've been able to utilize that space that way. There's potential to repurpose that space potentially as well as a storm shelter or one of the other spaces on the main floor that are getting used for like the pantry. Potentially the pantry, which is central in these layouts, could get transposed that way with poured walls, poured ceiling. Yeah.
Okay, Byron, anything else to tell us?
We're excited to come. We've been working on this as hard as we can, and we'd love to see this neighborhood go quick from the perspective of the community's responding, saying we're loving what's going on out here at Village Park Flats, and it's meeting the need, and it's something that's a benefit to your guys' community. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
We
thank
reserve the right to call you back if we have
Okay.
further questions. So. Okay, public hearing is still open. Anyone else like to make any comments?
Mayor, Council, Gary Pearson, President, North Platte Area Chamber and Development Corporation. Thank you very much to these. This is a very quality housing development team. They've checked out extraordinarily well. Want to thank Senator Jacobson for introducing them to our community. Give us an opportunity to try to sell them on the merits of North Platte and everything that we have going on here. I just to go back a little bit in time on this particular property is where the Chamber Development Corporation trying to get the stagnation in the housing market off dead center went forward with a blight study back in 2015, walked it through the process in 2016, got approval from the Planning Commission, City Council. It's been ongoing since that time, our effort to try to attract a volume developer to North Platte. That's how difficult and challenging it is. And we met with several. We had several projects we thought were going to go forward and ran into additional stumbling blocks, mostly associated with costs. So it's been an ongoing mission. And so we all know, and especially the statistics bear it out, we just do not have that volume developer in North Platte. We thank our local developers very much for what they do. Four of them, in fact, are building a single-family house today. But obviously, we need to do something of a more significant scale, and certainly this company can answer all of those challenges that we face in trying to meet the demands of not only today, but the future. So I want to thank them very much for doing that. This, again, is evidence that if you designate an area that says the community is going to be a partner in helping solve the financial challenges you face on infrastructure. Ty did a good job going over the different methods that are available, but this is the beauty of redevelopment is that you actually create something out of nothing. And that nothing has sit there in a donut hole for quite a significant time. We've had a few victories. In fact, it's Victory Village 1, Phase 1, and recently approved Victory Village Phase 2, bringing multifamily development to the community. And this is that answer to that single-family development we've worked so hard and long on to try to attract to North Platte. So highly encourage the council to embrace this and send the positive message to our employers that have taken their investment and put their faith in our community leadership to make sure things like this happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, still in the public hearing. Anyone else have any comments? Looks like we're done commenting on this one.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Garrick, second by Vols to close the public hearing on item number 16. Calling the question on closing the public hearing. Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'd like to request to abstain from items 16, 17, and 18 due to the potential for a conflict of interest.
Okay. The record show Councilman Lucas will be abstaining from items 16, 17, and 18. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Calling the question on closing the public hearing for item number 16, please. Public hearing is now closed. Thank you. Okay, the council will now consider number 16, adopt the resolution and approval of Village Park Flats redevelopment plan on property located at 3805 West A Street and approval of related actions.
Mr. Mayor, I move to adopt the resolution as presented in council materials and approval of Village Park Flats redevelopment plan and approval of related actions.
Second.
Motion by Flanders, second by Garrick on item number 16. Do we have any further discussion on item number 16? We have all the experts here in the audience. I'm sure we can answer any question. Mr. Vols.
If I could have Byron come back up.
Sorry, Byron, I would have told you to stay if I could.
I'm sorry. I wanted to give the public a chance to voice their concerns, and there were none. I lived out here, and I'll get to you in just one second, but I lived out here for 20 years. So I would drive by this piece of ground 6 times a day, because I go home for lunch. It's always been just a place where geese land. This is, just to refresh everyone's mind, it has a ditch running diagonally that these guys are gonna abate that ditch now. So this used to just be flooded with ditch irrigation. The mosquito population has gone down drastically out in this side of town because they don't do ditch irrigation and have standing water anymore. But this is a piece of ground that no one could ever figure out what to do with. I was on an initial meeting with these guys, and Byron has local connection here. He has family here in North Platte. But this group has been nothing but professional. They were gentlemen, and they truly want what's right for North Platte. If I could, can you give me a 60,000-foot view of how, you have 4 phases in your drawings. So the phase 4 is the frontage area along A Street. Phase 1 starts, I call it an H.
Okay.
And then if you can, then phase 2 was the blue and phase 3 was the red. Can you just give me an overall 60,000-foot view of how you envision this entire development looking 7, 8 years down the road?
Yeah, so, let me touch base on the phase 4. So 1, 2, and 3, each phase, phase 1 has triplex, townhome, and single family. And so we tried 1 as the approach to getting to where we want to go and getting to the finish line was, how can we make sure that along the way, we're still providing as much flexibility and opportunity for the community as possible. So instead of coming in and be like, let's go do all the single family first, and then do this next, and this next, the approach was, let's provide that every step of the way throughout the development. So phase 1 will have triplex, townhome, and single family available. So immediately as we start building, there's gonna be that range of opportunity for the community to dive into. And throughout the rest of the development. Phase 3 will not have triplex, it's just single family townhome. The 4th phase is that front, just a hair under 5 acres. You'll see that it's not assigned or plotted with any certain lot shape, et cetera. The reason for that is we wanted to allow, and as we were penciling this out, we wanted to allow enough flexibility on that 5 acres to provide the community with whatever it needs at that point in time. And what I mean by that is, as we get going to this, if there's such a high demand for townhomes, we have another piece of this parcel setting aside, be like, okay, let's go in and plot that out for townhomes. If the market is for single family, let's adjust, let's be flexible, and let's give the community more single family. It could also provide the opportunity if there were an investor or us ourselves, we're like, there's, even with the incredible apartments that are going up and the number of developments already, there's more need for apartment. We have something set aside where we could go do that, and phase 4 is not technically, doesn't have to be phase 4 from a timeline perspective. It could go simultaneously, any of the others with the correct opportunity. So that could even speed up the time frame of, instead of a 6 or 8 year build out, if phase 4 with the right opportunity comes along and that's going while we're also going on single family and townhome in phase 3, we've just chopped off a number of years off the timeline of the project. Overall, hopefully this answers your question. Overall, I think the 60,000-foot view of this development would be, we want something that is so attractive to young families and people wanting to get into the community, that when people are talking about like, well, where should we go, where should we look, they're like, you need to go out and look at Village Park Flats, because there's all kinds of opportunity out there, there's all kinds of housing, different price range, different opportunities, but that's the place you want to be. And so for us, it's what can we do on our side to make that community visually attractive, to make it functional. That's also why we wanted to throw the park in there, just another amenity to make it a place that's like people want to be in that development. And so that's a little bit of the 30,000, 60,000 foot view of what we're after.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments? Byron, I think you can sit down again.
Thank you. All right.
But again, we reserve the right to call you back. Okay. We are on item number 16. Any other questions, comments on item number 16? Donna?
This is just kind of a general question, but do we have any idea what the total number of apartments, townhomes, triplexes that we will have when all these developments that we currently have going are completed? I don't know if anyone has that. I keep hearing that, yeah. I don't know, everyone's crying for help and nobody wants to work, so I don't know where these people are coming from. So do we don't have a number?
Doing the numbers quickly, gentlemen from New Haven, how many total units are you adding in your development?
So our development specifically will be around 215 total units between all of the different structures, but that would be just our development. I don't know how that reflects with all the others.
Right. And so the other apartments across the city, varying stages of, over the last 3 years, have added slightly over 200 apartments. So we'd be looking in the vicinity of 450, give or take 25. I'm not sure exactly, but it'll be about there. So, and roughly your timeline, I mean, I know you're going to build somewhat based on demand, but as you plan it today, how long is your timeline?
We're ready and willing and able to move dirt and get going on this as fast as possible. I know that it might be, there's some developers that are really sensitive to seasons, and it's totally understandable. We'd like to get vertical as fast as possible. There's really no reason for us to sit back and wait. With that being said, I think that we could get through, given how, especially this first phase of infrastructure and build goes, depending on weather and time of the year that we're starting in, at least right now, like a 6 to 7 year time frame is manageable. I guess to give you guys a little bit of perspective, many of the homes that we build in the Lincoln area, even some of our larger homes that are 2,000 to 2,200 square feet with full finished basements, because of the way we structure our subs and our scheduling, we build those out anywhere between 95 to 110 days. And so when we're talking structures here where we're not worried about a finished basement, we're going slab on grade, a plan that we've built before, we anticipate being able to get through these homes, the full build from laying down that foundation and pouring the floor to vacuuming carpet in anywhere between 85 to 95 days. So with that kind of efficiency and build, we're hoping that our build-out process is quick.
So 240 some units in 7 years, roughly, that's what, 30 units a
35.
year approximately?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Donna?
Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
Again, we reserve the right.
Stay right.
Okay, good. Does anyone have anything else to discuss on item number 16? Seeing nothing, calling the question on item number 16. Item number 16 is passed. Item number 17, we have a public hearing. Okay, see, I was able to generate some surprise in my voice on that one, everybody, come on. All right. Public hearing will be to hear input on adopt the recommendation by the North Platte Planning Commission to adopt ordinance number 4130 to rezone certain lands from from a PR1 dwelling district to a PR3 dwelling district on property described as Block 3, Lakeview First Subdivision, North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, located at 3805 West A Street. Lane, would you read the ordinance, please?
Ordinance number 4130, an ordinance of the city of North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, rezoning certain lands described as Block 3, Lakeview First Subdivision, North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, proposed Village Flats First Subdivision, from a PR1 planned dwelling district to a PR3 planned dwelling district, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, providing for the effective date and publication thereof.
Thank you. Opening the public hearing on item number 17, please. Anyone wishing to comment on item number 17? tell Byron's just itching to get back up there right now. It would appear that no one has any further comments on item 17.
Move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion by Garrick, second by Vols to close the public hearing. Calling the question on closing the public hearing, please. Public hearing is now closed. Council will now consider item number 17, which is to adopt the recommendation by the North Platte Planning Commission to adopt ordinance number 4130 to rezone certain lands from a PR1 dwelling district to a PR3 dwelling district on property described as Block 3, Lakeview First Subdivision, North Platte, Lincoln County, Nebraska, located at 3805 West A Street.
Move to adopt ordinance number 4130 to rezone certain lands from a PR1 dwelling district to a PR3 dwelling district on first reading.
Second.
Motion by Garrick, second by Vols. Do we have any discussion on item number 17? Mr. Garrick?
Since we have the developer here, Byron, I apologize. Would you like or request that we waive the 3 readings? What's your thoughts on that?
What would be the time frame if the 3 readings move forward?
It'd be another month, so we do 2 weeks and 2 weeks before.
That would be great, as Judy spoke, if faster is better sometimes. But if I don't know that it makes a massive difference necessarily on our end, but if we could get to that point where we have it redesignated under the PR3 sooner than later, that would be great.
Thank you. I move to waive the 3 readings.
Second.
Motion by Garrick, second by Flanders to waive the 3 readings on item number 17. Do we have any discussion on that?
Mr. Mayor, Bill just reminded me to remind you that I'll be abstaining from this item as well.
Yes, thank you. Do we have any discussion on the proposed amendment to waive the 3 readings on item number 17? Calling the question on a motion to waive the 3 readings on item number 17, please. Three readings are waived. The motion is added to item number 17. If passed by the council, it will be passed on a single reading. We're back to item number 17. Do we have any further questions or comments on item number 17 as amended? Seeing none, calling the question on item number 17 would pass on a single vote if this vote passes. Item number 17 is passed on first reading. Item number 18, adopt the recommendation by the City Planning Commission for preliminary and final approval of Village Park Flats First Subdivision. Adopt the recommendation by the City Planning. It just repeats. Okay. We're starting over just for the sake of clarity. Adopt the recommendation by the City Planning Commission for preliminary and final approval of Village Park Flats First Subdivision. Adopt the recommendation by the City Planning Commission for preliminary and final approval of Village Park Flats First Subdivision.
I move to adopt the recommendation by the City Planning Commission for preliminary and final approval of Village Park Flats First Subdivision.
Second.
Motion by Garrick, second by Vols. Do we have discussion on item number 18?
Mr. Mayor, just
Mr.
to get
Lucas.
back on the record that I'll also be abstaining on item 18.
Okay. Mr. Lucas is abstaining on item number 18 as well.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Flanders.
This might be a question for Brent, but I know that there's a gas line on that corner by Dixie there, and then there's a alleyway that curves around, and there's also another alleyway over on Second. Are they planning on joining those there, or is there going to be no alley in between those lots?
Councilman Flanders, the subdivision has an east-west alley. You know, the current alley, as you mentioned, comes out and curves down.
Right.
That alley's kept straight east and west and would come out into Dixie. So that alley would be maintained going that way. And then as far as north and south, Dixie lines up north and south, but there's not going to be an alley on the east side
Okay.
of the property.
All right.
And there is an easement to keep that gas line area through the main riser for, I think the community's right over in that corner. And part of it is on the property adjacent already, but there's easements in there to address that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks, Brent. Other questions or comments on item number 18? Seeing none, calling the question on item number 18, please. Item number 18 is passed.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Lucas, you're not going to abstain from the claims, are you?
Not yet. No. I'd like to make a motion to enter into closed session for the purpose of contract discussions.
Second.
Motion to enter into contract, or closed session for contract discussions by Lucas, second by Garrick. Calling the question on closed session contract discussions. Thank you. The council is now in closed session. Thank you, everyone.
Just claims.
Just the
Just
claims.
claims, that's it.
You can come back.
recorded over there, so.
Oh, thank you.
Are you going to partake in the rest of the council meeting?
I think I'm back.
Okay, welcome back, everyone.
Put away for Angie. Oh, that's right.
Okay, we're back, everyone. Thank you. Number 19, approve the claims.
Move we approve the claims.
Second.
Motion by Vols, second by Nisley. Any discussion on the claims? Calling the question and approving the claims, please. Claims are paid. Number 19 passes. Public agenda request. Kathy Jo, do you intend to make a public agenda request? Okay. We're just going to skip that part. Meeting adjourned, everyone. Thank you very much.
I move we adjourn the meeting.
We need to vote?
Calling the question and adjourning the meeting. I know. Technically, when we reach the end of agenda of a public meeting, you do not have to adjourn it. We just do it for the sake of precision, so.